We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Talk Live. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the artist formerly known as Crazy Dotastic, Mr. Tuan X. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy?
What's good, man? How you doing? I'm doing great.
No, that's awesome. That's a great thing. You know, here's the thing. I'll just start off with this. I found you through C&D.
Okay.
Which I don't think that's a surprise to you. I think,
no.
You know, because when he was doing the whole going to stand in line for 30 days thing, like I'm sitting there watching, all of a sudden, like, I keep seeing this guy with this infectious smile, dude. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's my mama's smile. I let her know.
You always got this smile on your face, man. You're always happy. And I'm like, dude, this guy just has this demeanor about him. I like this guy. This guy's pretty cool. So that's where I kind of like was introduced to you, and I've known you as Crazy Dotastic. And then I didn't really like follow you on Instagram or any of that stuff. And then one day, like, I posted a picture of something. I don't even know what it was. And you liked it. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. How the hell did he? And then all of a sudden, like, then I started following you, and I was like, and then, like, occasionally, like, I would post Nintendo stuff, and you would start liking it. And I was like, you know what, man, this guy, I just want to reach out to him. And I kind of reached out after you did the rebrand. And I was like, let me just see if there's any possibility that he would come, you know, down to the slums and hang out with me for a little bit. So,
of course, man.
But real quick, please tell everybody, like, what you do, who you are, how they can find you, all that good stuff. Like, let's get the formalities out the way.
Okay, so my name is Tuan X. What do I do? I mean, I create videos on YouTube and other platforms as well. And pretty much, I do that. I'm also an entertainer. So I've been a singer, I've been a performer, a rapper, all that type of stuff. So I've done a whole bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. But what's the other question?
Or where can they find you at? Where
you can find me. I mean, you can find me everywhere. I mean, youtube.com/TuanX. Any socials you're on, just type in Tuan X and I'll be there. I'm there in some way, shape, or form for sure.
And listen, let's just say this. You don't just do videos. Dude, the quality and the production value is way up on what you do.
Thank you.
Like, that's another thing that, like, when you go to see what you're doing, like, it's all high quality. It's just, it looks fantastic. Seriously. I
appreciate that.
You're welcome. And that's the one thing, like, because I appreciate that. Like, when you look at YouTubers and it's like, nothing annoys me more is when a guy has like 6 million views and all he does is have an iPhone in the back of a car and he's like shooting stuff. And then you got a guy that has like high production value and he's got like 100 views and it's like, the heck? Well, how is this even possible? But it's happens.
The struggle, bro. It's the struggle, bro. I mean, what can you say? I mean, I appreciate all content creators and people out there entertaining people. But you know, for me, that was always a hard sticking point with me. I definitely wanted quality content, and I definitely wanted to showcase, you know, my skills as a videographer and a video editor and stuff like that. So that was just always first and foremost in my mind. I could have went the alternative route and just created very, very simple content, like just, you know, and could have made it a lot simpler. And, you know, I could have done it that way and it would have been a lot easier. Trust me, I would have had a lot more videos on YouTube. But for me, quality has always been first and foremost in my mind. So I appreciate you recognizing it. It's always something that I always keep first and foremost when I'm thinking about creating something.
Yeah, it shows, hands down. It's like above and beyond, like totally. So listen, this is going to be the fun portion. Then we get into the hard hitting stuff later. But
let's do
it. So the first question, real simple. This is how I like to introduce myself to people and get to know people real quickly, because I think this kind of tells me, at least, what type of gamer and what type of person I'm dealing with.
Okay.
I'll explain.
Right.
I'll explain after.
Judging me now. Okay, let's go.
I'm totally judging now. So, what was the first Nintendo console that you have ever owned?
Ooh, first Nintendo console I ever owned. I can't say I owned. It was in my household.
That's
It was
fine.
really
It doesn't have to be you,
yeah.
like your
It was
family
really
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. It was really my brother's. It was the NES.
Okay.
It was the original NES.
Okay,
Yeah.
now see, I appreciate. Now we're good. Or immediately we're good. Now
Okay, good.
we're on good ground now. Don't worry about it. Now the rest is down. You know, the rest is gravy from here.
Okay.
How old is your brother compared to you?
My brother's about 6 years older than me. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's not that bad. And
Yeah.
and you know, like you mentioned your mom very early on. Apparently, she was a very good woman to get you guys an
No,
NES.
she's fantastic. Yeah, she looked out for sure.
What is the first Nintendo console that you ever bought with your own money?
Oh wow. The first one that I bought with my money, that would be probably the GameCube.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the GameCube. Nintendo 64 came out around what 1997, I believe it was.
96, 97, right?
96. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a bit too young. I didn't have that much money at that point in my life. So yeah, that was really my parents' purchase as well. So yeah, it was the GameCube. That was when I was like, GameCube came out what 2003, 2002.
Right around there, yeah. I think 02, 03. Yeah, you're right. Right around that area.
Yeah, I was definitely a teenager at that point. I was definitely in high school. Yeah, that was definitely the first console that I bought for myself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you were like in high school and you're like buying. So your mom was nice, but she wasn't that nice. She's like, okay, it's time for you to get out there and start earning.
No, definitely. I think it was probably Christmas money though. It's probably like Christmas.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Of all the Nintendo consoles, which, minus the Switch, because I don't want to hear that nonsense.
Oh, come on, bro.
I know the Switch is amazing, but that's
Come
the
on,
easy
bro.
answer. We'll get into the Switch, but
yeah.
pre-Switch,
Okay.
what is your favorite Nintendo console?
Pre-Nintendo Switch. That's a tough one. I'm doing a video right now where I talk about people ask me like, what's the best? I'm like, I have a hard time labeling the best because I have so many great memories of so many consoles. So, when it comes to Nintendo consoles, I love the Super NES. I love so many games on the Super NES. Like I cannot front. It's the best 2D system ever created in my eyes. But then I had some great experiences with the GameCube as well. It was my first system that I bought on my own. Obviously, I spent a lot of money, a lot of time on that system. But at the same time, there were incredible games on, I feel, the underrated and overlooked Wii U.
Yes.
So, I mean, I probably wouldn't put Wii U up there as the greatest system of all time, obviously. But I had great experiences on the Wii U.
But it's your personal favorite.
Yeah.
So
I know,
totally
for sure.
Yeah.
So
see, I'm glad.
I guess,
I'm glad that I didn't let you pick the Switch because this internal struggle is amazing. Like,
absolutely. Because if you let me pick the Switch, then it's a done deal.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be between the Super NES and the GameCube. I guess for nostalgia reasons, I guess the GameCube pulls me more. Mm-hmm. But if we're just looking at the games, like games, Super NES, man. Yeah, I can't front on it.
I'm with you there, 110%. Like, I love the Super Nintendo because, and I'm going to speak, but I don't know if it's the same for you. But like for me, when I played the NES games, they were so fantastic, just amazing stuff. And then like they took all the greatness of the NES and then just ramped up the graphics. Yeah, and it was like the first time I saw Link to the Past, I was like, what is happening right now?
Absolutely.
And it happens every console, but you're just like, it can never get better than this. It's never, like this is the epitome. It'll never get better. And then they come out with the N64, and I'm like, it's never going to get better than, and it just happens all the time. Yeah,
I remember me and my brother used to talk about, I think it was on N64. Like he was like, imagine if the games looked as good as the cutscenes. I'm like.
And now
it'll never get there. And I'm looking at the PS4, Xbox. I'm like, oh wow, we've completely blown that out of the water.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember. And it's funny because I remember when I used to think the same things, and I used to go like, because I used to watch like, when you look at like Ninja Gaiden, and you would see these cutscenes. Even then, like, don't get me wrong, like I know what you're talking about, like the PS4, like when you get to Final Fantasy VII and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like I would see these cutscenes on like Ninja Gaiden and all, and I'd be like, oh my god, look what they're doing. And then when you do get to Final Fantasy VII and you're playing that for the first time, and it's like, oh my, these cutscenes are fantastic. And then moving forward, like when you hit the GameCube and you start to hit stuff like that, and it's just like they would actually put like not actual gameplay footage, and I was just like, oh, you're killing me, man. Like this, that's what I want. Not, I don't want that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want this. So it's kind of funny. With the Super, or with, I'm not Super Nintendo, with the Switch. I mean, I think it's pretty. Like, would you say that the Switch is your favorite of all time right now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
For sure.
But what's doing it for you?
It's the console I've always wanted. I mean, I've prior to the Switch coming out, another conversation I would have with my brother was like, what if we could take like the console games with us, like these quality games, like GameCube, Wii U quality games, and play them like anywhere. Like that would be like the ultimate dream. Instead of getting like these pixelated games, many of them are fantastic games. Yeah. Instead of that, can we get like full 3D console games on the go? And the Nintendo Switch is the first system in my eyes that nailed it 100% completely. Yeah. PlayStation Vita tried it with the remote play and all that kind of stuff, and remote play was fine, but it was finicky and it was rough. Yeah, man. It was rough.
If you didn't have perfect Wi-Fi connection on both sides,
it's over. It's done.
Lights out. It's not happening.
Exactly.
The only thing I think I did on that was Minecraft, and like because you also couldn't use a lot of buttons. You couldn't get into like if there was any more buttons. Like shooters didn't really work.
Done.
So
yeah, absolutely. And so it nailed it in every facet for me. And then just the first year of the Nintendo Switch, I cannot recall any other console having a first year as solid as Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch in terms of the games, the game lineup throughout the entire year. It's just consistent quality games throughout the entire year. I never felt like, man, they need to come up with something else. Man, I need something else to satiate myself. Like it was you had Breath of the Wild, which you could put 250 hours into or more easily. And then you had ARMS, which was really fun for a short period of time. Then you had Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was a fantastic game in my eyes. I love Mario plus Rabbids. Xenoblade came out. You have Super Mario Odyssey that came out. I mean, it was just you had the Doom. Like they surprised us with the Doom, and I was just like, whoa, you got Doom on the Switch, like.
And not just Doom, like it looked and played fantastic. Yeah, like it held up. It was a great port, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's that first year's lineup. It's the potential that I see with the console and the games coming to the console. I mean, it's just an amazing thing to see third parties really supporting the Switch as well as they're trying to. Like what? Like you have over 1,000 games on the Switch right now.
It's insane. Like okay, so here's the thing. You talked about the Wii U prior, and I love my Wii U. Loved it to death when it was out, and I was the same thing. I'm like, dude, 1 month I'm like, oh, this is great. I got Mario Kart 8, and I'm playing, and then it's like I didn't see it. I didn't have another good game for like 2-3 months.
Absolutely.
And here it's like, honestly, I wish that like the people that are complaining now about some Switch stuff, I wish we could just take those people and just transport them to pre-Switch, like 3-4 months prior, when they're sitting there and they're like, man, will Nintendo be able to survive? Like they're going to go third party and they're going to do all that. Like people were like basically writing them off as like they had to have the perfect, and Nintendo was very cool, calm, and collected leading up to the Switch launch. And,
for sure.
And then when it hit, like you said, like, dude, they wrote the blueprint in my eyes for the next generation. I guarantee you, Sony and Xbox looked at what Nintendo did and was like, okay, our next consoles need to follow that same blueprint, like, because that was perfection personified. And when you look at like PlayStation, you look at the PS4, they had a couple first party games out the gate, and then it went a long drought of third party stuff. Yeah, if they didn't have third parties, they were done.
Yeah.
Luckily, the third parties pushed them until finally the first parties could catch up and go. So it's just like, man, Nintendo just knocked it out the park with what they did. And when you look at 2017, I looked at it and was like, how can any company even rival what they did that year? It was just great game after great game.
Yeah, it was fantastic. What was I going at? I don't know if the PS5 and the next Xbox are going to try to follow suit. I do think, though, that Nintendo has carved out a space for themselves that's going to keep them steady for a good amount of time to come. Like, I think they've carved out just a market for themselves that I don't think anyone's really going to touch. As much as I would love to have like a portable PlayStation 4, that would be fantastic. I don't see Sony going that direction. I see Sony and Microsoft more so focused on how they can, especially Microsoft, focused on how they can get their games on everything that you can think of, your phone, your computer, and a set-top box, which is what I consider Xbox at this point. But yeah, Nintendo Switch, undeniably one of the best years I've seen so far in gaming. Like, just when you put those things together and the potential, the lineup that's coming, Metro Prime 4, you have Bayonetta 3, you've got the new Pokemon game, you've got so many things down the pipeline to look forward to. Which one? Is it Fire Emblem? Yeah, Fire Emblem. Yep. Like, come on. Like, I'm one. Like, they won me. Like,
it came hard, man. I feel like 2019 really is poised to maybe outdo 2017, or at least rival it. Like, dude, that Yoshi trailer they just dropped. Yeah, I was like, wow. Like, man, and to be honest, like, that was something we thought was coming last year, and they delayed it. And I was like, thank you for the delay, because this was perfect. Like, this is just a stacked year that I can't wait to see what the surprises are. Like, it's going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely.
So Nintendo basically robbed us this weekend. When we booked this, right? Okay. I kept looking at this date and I kept saying, like, oh man, because you're listening to the internet and everybody's telling me, like, even though I didn't feel like it was 100% true, it crept into my head. It kept creeping in my head, like, we're supposed to get a direct this week. But we didn't. And that's fine. I don't that doesn't matter to me. When we get it, we'll get it. But if we get one in January or February, it's going to come soon, I believe. Yeah. What are you hoping they talk about in that direct? Like, what would be your master plan for a direct?
I would hope they bring more to light about the new Animal Crossing game, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon. Like, I'm a big Pokemon fan. So I definitely want to see something on that. I really hope they push the boundaries, the limits of that Pokemon game. I really hope they do more than what I saw with, like, Pokemon Let's Go. I want it visually, just all over. So I'm really hoping for something there. I do think, however, it's probably going to be more along the lines of talking about the things that are coming out probably in the first half of the year. Yeah,
and I think that's probably I mean, I think that's where we're gonna definitely hit, and it's gonna be. I mean, I hope that we see some surprises. Like, I hope we see some things that we don't know about coming. Yeah, whether it be third party or first party. I would love some third party stuff to just drop to just blow my mind away. Yeah. Now, are you in the camp of, well, they dropped a bunch of news this week in terms of, like, the Final Fantasy stuff and the Capcom game and Yoshi and Kirby, that they're getting stuff out of the way for some important news? Or do you feel like they were just it didn't matter. That wasn't really going to be part of the direct anyway.
I don't know, man. I try not to predict. Like I like being surprised.
Yeah, me too.
I like being genuinely surprised and feeling like, wow, okay, I didn't know this was coming. And just because obviously the endorphins, you feel it inside your body. It's like, oh shit. Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I try not to really predict what they're going to do. I just try to look at it from a business standpoint sometimes. So I'm just like, okay, beginning of the year, Nintendo Direct, it's probably going to deal with, the games that are coming out in the first half, Mortal Kombat 11, Yoshi's Crafted World.
Yeah.
Things along that line.
So here, I mean, we do this every day. Like, well, not every day, but like we're producing content as much as we possibly can.
Right.
How do you find a way to like keep the leaks and stuff away? Because that's it's hard. I mean, because we're trying to find stuff to like do content on, and you're looking for Nintendo stuff to try to stay ahead of the curve. But like, I look at your content and I don't see you like talking about leaks or rumors or any of that stuff. Like, your stuff is really truly natural, where you're talking about tech stuff or accessories or games that you have on your Switch. So you keep your stuff more genuine as opposed to like just in that rat race going through. But I know it's difficult to like at times not read into it and talk about it and go into. What do you do to keep away?
For sure, man. It's difficult because it's that, like, I'm to be completely honest, that kind of stuff is really easy to make content about. It's really easy for me to just sit in front of my camera and just talk about the rumors and the leaks and my opinions on it. And honestly, I probably may do more of it. I can't front on that. I do have opinions about things that I don't share sometimes, but I feel like it'd be cool if they were out there in the water for people to kind of think about. But in general, I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, the content is easy to make. And so in my head, I don't want to just be a talking head. I don't want to just, sit in front of the camera and just spew away for 12 minutes about a specific topic, to hit YouTube's algorithms. But I more personally thinking about what can I provide in my commentary that is of more substance and value than just my opinion and just me sitting in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I like editing. I like showing things in a way that's going to spark the eye, stimulate the eye, and make you think further in some aspects than just me sharing my opinion. So I'm still processing those ideas right now, and sometimes I'll have a video where I'm expressing my opinion, what I think is going to happen. But I mean, I pay attention to it, but I like really talking about products. I like sharing, talking about the things that I love, and I try not to delve too much into the negative side unless I really feel some type of way about something. Like I made a video about Nintendo Switch Online being trash, but that's because I really, truly, genuinely felt that Nintendo Switch Online is trash, and I just couldn't hold, like, it's just, it bothered me so much because I saw the potential of Nintendo Switch Online, of what it could be, and how great it could have been. And then just for Nintendo to yet again drop the ball on online, it's just, it's frustrating because it's just so glaringly obvious that Nintendo has a really, really hard time understanding how online works and how to best serve the rabid fan base that Nintendo has.
Yeah. So I do a podcast called If We Ran Nintendo.
Yeah.
I do it every week. So I want to throw this at you. If you ran Nintendo, what would you change about the online? What would, if they came to you and said, Tuan, what's the perfect online, what is it in your mind?
I can't tell you perfect, but I can tell you some things that Nintendo needs to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they shouldn't overlook achievements.
Okay.
It's a fun thing to have. It's a fun little just aspect of the experience to have, like to see yourself level up or to see yourself rank higher, compare yourselves to others, to be able to just compare yourselves to your friends and the people you're playing against and the people around the world. Don't overlook achievements. And Virtual Console, man, it's just this Nintendo Entertainment System on the Nintendo Switch. It's not it, like it's just not it, bro. Like it's like I always said that Virtual Console didn't need to come back in the way that it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $3, $4, $5 for classic NES games.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
But I would love a subscription service where
like a Netflix.
I could,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, a Netflix for games. Like it literally could have been half of the amount of games that you had in Virtual Console on the Wii U and the Wii, but you pay a monthly subscription for it, and you have games from the NES, Super NES, 3DO, I think it was, Genesis, and so many other consoles, and you could bring in Nintendo 64 and GameCube games as well, and you have this platform here that is ever expanding. You add stuff weekly like you're doing with the Nintendo Entertainment System. You add stuff on a weekly basis like, okay, bang, here's some new content, here's a new GameCube game, here's some new NES games, whatever the case may be. And on a frequent basis, you can even cycle content. You can even be like, okay, we're only going to have 500 games in this platform, and we're going to cycle through them. So this week we're going to add this, and we'll take away this particular game. So make sure you get to play. Make sure you play it, whatever the case may be. And that is way more appealing to me than Nintendo Entertainment System on the Nintendo Switch. I feel like for one, NES is not my favorite Nintendo console. Like there are great games on the NES, but visually the games don't hold up well. No. Like they don't. And Super NES, like it's going back to being one of my favorite consoles. Like it's just visually the games look amazing on a lot of Super NES games, and it's just a drop ball to me. They could have brought back Virtual Console as a service, and I think it would have been far more appealing. They could have made that a separate thing you had to purchase.
See, because for me that's what I was going to get into. What you were just saying was, for me, I would have said, like, here's Nintendo Online. You have to have Nintendo Online in order to play the online stuff. I would have said, like, let's make like a Netflix or whatever you're going to call it, and that's going to be like, that's going to satisfy you. You're the gamer that would satisfy. And then for me, give me Virtual Console, right? Yeah. And then go like, because maybe I'm the type of guy that does want to buy those games and own those games. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or here's an example. Maybe you're playing, we'll just say Duck Hunt, because it's the first game that popped in my head. You're playing Duck Hunt, and Nintendo comes out and goes, hey, Tuan, next week, Duck Hunt's coming off our 500 games. And you go, oh my God, I'm not done with this. I want to keep playing. Well, you know what? I can go buy it. And then you can go buy it. And you go buy that game, and now you have it in your library. On your Switch. And it's there, and it's done. And then you could go, you know what I mean? Like, give options. It's like they're afraid to give options. And
it's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, it's honestly ridiculous. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to cloud save all of your games. Like, it just boggles the mind. Yeah. There's no reason why chat shouldn't be embedded in every single game. Why you need an app on your phone in order to chat the legit way on Splatoon.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think they have a clue that they could put chat on that system. I think when Epic went to them and was like, "Here it is, it's done," like, we want it, and then they said, "Oh, okay, do it." You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those things that, like, it just worked on. But I don't think, honestly, they had a clue what they were doing with that. Like, I really don't feel like they had a grasp on it, you know?
I think they overthought it.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think they were thinking too much. Like, okay, so if someone's carrying their Switch portably, how exactly are they going to chat and game? Like, they were overthinking the whole process. Yep. And I think it put a wall where there wasn't one for them.
Because I don't think they realized that, like, so I tell this story of something that I saw a few weeks ago. Well, it was a few months ago now. I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith.
Okay.
And I was following him on Twitter one day, and he likes to do videos and post them on Twitter or Facebook Live and stuff, wherever he gets a chance. And he's driving down the street, and he's sitting there, and he goes, "This is how you know the marriage is in trouble." And he turns the camera, and it's Jason Mewes in the back seat. And Jason Mewes is playing Fortnite on his Switch, headset on. He's voice chatting to people, and he's tethered to his phone. And it's like, Nintendo, why didn't you just think, like, that's what's going to happen? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, we live in the world where, like, I could just turn a hotspot on this thing, and I'm good to go. You could do the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I pay for a service here, turn the hotspot on, you just put voice chat in there, and we're good to go. I just don't think that they were, you know, it amazes me. Like, we said a second ago, like, why are they afraid to give options? And I think a lot of times it's like they're afraid to confuse people on things like there's too many services to buy and whatever. But they're not afraid to confuse people with names of consoles. Like new 3DS and 3DS XL and the new 3DS XL and Wii U. And it's like you have these names sometimes, and it's like you don't ever think twice about confusing people with the names. But yet, when it's something that's, to me anyway, pretty simple, of like, hey, you just give multiple options and we're good to go here. I really think that's why I'm hoping that, like, when they do like reiterations of the Switch, they treat it like an iPhone, where I'm an idiot and I'll go day one and buy a new Switch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe you haven't bought a Switch yet. You know what I mean? And you're like, hey, I want to go buy a Switch, but you know, they got this new one coming out. I don't want to spend $400 again for this thing. But you know what? The old Switch now is $200 or $100. You know what I mean? And then it's like now you're getting people back in because they're buying the cheaper version, but you're getting people like, because you would be there day one. Who you kidding?
Yeah, no, of course.
You know, but you get the idiots like us that are there day one getting the new shiny stuff, and it's like we'll pay the $300-$400 if it's a quality upgrade. Yeah. Then again, I say that, and I paid $1,000 for this thing, and it's basically
me too.
This, I like how you said, yeah, me too.
But I'm going back to what you said about Nintendo trying not to confuse people. I think Nintendo, I don't know if they do it on purpose, but I think they like confusing people. I think they get off on it on some weird level. They enjoy confusing the hell out of their customers. Facts. From the services to the names to the bringing back friend codes to it's just things like things that just don't make sense. I feel like it's just like a little fun they have at their office. It's like, how can we troll these people? Like, oh, we brought usernames. No, let's rescind that and let's bring back friend codes. Yeah. For what? I know. There's no logic behind it.
You know what's crazy, right? So Miitomo comes out, right? You get Miitomo, you get Super Mario Run and all that stuff, and it's so simple for you and I to become friends. Yeah. The Switch comes out, and it's like, okay, we're going back to Wii days, and it's like, what just happened?
What happened? Who missed the memo? Who?
I do know, just from people that I've spoken to that are game developers, you know, in conversations that I've had, where it's like there's a lot of internal turmoil, meaning just in terms of like the way Japan does things and the way America does things and the way Europe does things are totally different. Yeah. And it's like, but Japan dictates everything. So I was talking to a guy one day, right? This is going back a few months ago on a Nintendo Talk Live, and right here, I have this thing called an Ojo, which is a projector for the Switch.
Okay.
You dock your Switch, and it throws the image up on the wall. And I was talking to Jack Gilbert, who's the PR guy, about it. He was on an episode, and we were discussing it, and we were talking about China, and because that's where they make the thing, and he was saying that, like, in Japan, in Asia, the cell phone is like God to them, meaning that's how they do everything. So they expect to have voice chat on a cell phone. They don't think to have voice chat built in the console. That's not their thing. So he goes, so for them, like when Nintendo Switch Online basically has the chat app, that makes sense to them. Where over here, we're just like, what are you doing? And he says he runs into that all the time because he'll go to them, because he deals with a Chinese company, and he'll go to them and go like, these are some ideas that we have, and they can't wrap their minds around it. Where he's like, we did that years ago. Like, you need to do it this way. And they're like, no, this is the way we do it. And he's like, you're kind of behind the times on these things. So I kind of understand it. Doesn't mean that it's right at all. But I understand where the disconnect is. And I think a lot of it's just disconnect between Japan and the United States. Yeah.
And the rest of the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Asia and the
it's Asia versus the rest of the world.
Pretty much. And I feel like that's where better communication between that part of the world and that part of the different parts of the world, where better communication about the expectations from gamers in these different aspects of the world really has to come more in the forefront when they're making these talks and talking about features and benefits and things of that nature. Because honestly, they could have had the Nintendo Switch Online little app, and I think in some ways it's really cool. I think it's cool to be able to see the stats of Splatoon. It's dope. I love looking through analytics. I love that kind of stuff. And, it's fun to just waste time doing. That's cool. I like the idea of even chat on it. Like that's fine in and of itself. Like, to be able to communicate with people. The implementation, not so much. Like, I feel like they could have continued to have. They could have brought chat into the actual console itself, and they could have had this separate Nintendo Switch Online app where you could chat and communicate with your friends, where you could talk about the latest games, make little groups and forums, and kind of like a Discord type of thing. And make a platform that connects directly to the Nintendo Switch, and directly to different games, and shows you stats for all the games you play, how many hours you've been playing on this particular game. It's like, could they bring some of the parental controls app stuff over onto?
Because that's amazing. That thing's amazing.
Exactly. You can see how long you've been playing certain games, how many hours you've been playing it compared to your friends. And
again, like we talk about how like they had stuff. Like, you look at the Wii U. The Wii U will tell you down to the second how long you've played a game. And this thing, you have to wait 10 days. And then it starts rounding numbers. And it's like, and then people are like, oh no, the parental app is better. No, it's not. It gives you precise numbers, but you have to add those numbers up. And it's like, this is stupid. Like, why? Why couldn't you have done it? I get a little frustrated sometimes with Nintendo. I mean, I love them to death. Don't get me wrong. They are like.
They frustrate me. They frustrate me as well. I love Nintendo, but they frustrate me as well.
So, how many times in your life have you been to the Nintendo New York store? Because you're not far, right? You're not far from there at all, are you?
Nah, I should have gone a lot more. I mean,
I go there every now and again. Like I have to space. I'm in Jersey. I'm in South Jersey, so I have to space it a little bit. But I go in and I'm like,
I live in Jersey City now. So
okay.
Yeah, so I mean, probably less than my hands and my toes. So probably less than 20 times.
You come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. What is wrong with you? You should have been there a lot more.
No, for real. Like, I can't. The first time I went, I was like a teenager. And then it was just a long period of time that I never went there. And honestly, I didn't start going there until probably like 3 years ago, a little bit more often. They do stuff for the Wii U.
Yeah.
I'd show up. And then the Nintendo Switch launch, I was there for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've gone there probably like 3 or 4 times since that.
Let's talk about that for a second. So
Okay.
you weren't there from the very like you obviously you didn't do the 30 days. That
Hell no.
Yeah, that was just madness.
Hell no.
That was just madness, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I give him credit.
For sure.
But like, Alex, dude, what are you smoking, man? Like, who does that, man? When he posted that the first time, I was like, this kid's off his rocker. Like, he is absolute. But it turned into something, man. It was pretty epic.
Absolutely.
About how far out did you say, okay, I'm camping or I'm staying? Because you got your Switch from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I watched his whole journey, and I was like, oh snap, he's over there. I gotta go say what up to him. I gotta check him out and just, show some love and respect, and whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out there, we chopped it up, we talked, and I was just like, I'm gonna think about doing this. Let me come back and wait on the line.
Yeah.
I ain't putting in the days you putting in, but we gonna see what happens. I got a 9 to 5.
I got a job. I got to
exactly.
pay for the Switch some way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I came in probably about 2 days in advance, like a day and a half.
But did you stay there for that time?
For the majority of it. So I came like a day and a half in advance. I had my dog with me. Right. I had my little Nintendo dog Ava with me.
That's
and
awesome.
So we was chilling out there, and it was cold. It was really.
It's February, right? Or no, March. But it was, dude, we had a cold March.
It was very, very cold
Yeah,
March.
man. Yeah, man.
It was very, very cold March, and of course, and add on top of that, just sitting in one spot, you're just gonna get colder and colder. And so I had like her bed and covers and all that type of stuff covering her, and obviously I was all ready and whatnot, and I was like, all right, so listen, I need to warm up, bro. I'm like, I gotta warm up. So I was talking to people online. I was probably like number like 30, 35 around there.
Okay.
And so the people next to me were like, yeah, I got to go to work for like 8 hours and I'm coming back. So I'm like, okay, so I'll hold down your spot. You got to go to work. You got to make sure, you get your job stuff handled. So your spot is good to me, and they go to work, they come back. I'm like, all right, so I just want to like go to sleep for a little bit. Cause I can't sleep out. I just couldn't. I tried to sleep out there. I just couldn't sleep, and it just felt terrible to me. So I'm like, all right, so I just booked me a hotel, which is like 2 blocks down. It was mad expensive. It was like $300 for like one night. And so I booked this hotel, and I was like, all right, so I'm gonna just go here for like 8, 9, 10 hours. And so that's what I did. Went to the hotel for like 8, 9, 10 hours. Came back to the line. They held me down, and pretty much that's how I handled that whole situation.
I don't blame you, because there's because he got to what? 24 hours, and then it was like maybe a little bit more than that. He just locked it in, and they were and him and Triforce were just swapping out, like when it got down to that crunch time where like they were staying there 24 hours a day, and like one would go back to the hotel or back to the Airbnb, and then they'd swap out. And I was just like, this is it became something that, like, I was married at the time, and me and my wife, I would come home from work and it'd be like, okay, let's watch the vlog for today. Let's see what happened today. And it was nuts, man. It just became like this thing you do, And it was like, and when he started it, I was like, this isn't gonna be, And then one day, like what happened was I didn't really start watching for about a week.
Yeah.
So we binged the first like week, and I was like, oh, I'm in. So we come home every day, and it was like just this thing I would do every day. I was like, oh, it's just, but I could not. So I went there for Gold Mario Amiibo.
Yeah.
When they did the Gold Mario Amiibo. And me and her go up there to New York, and we rent a room. Right there in Rockefeller Center. It was like $600 for 2 nights. I'm like, this is madness. I'm paying $600 for a stupid Amiibo.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Most expensive Amiibo I ever bought. And but the crazy thing is, right, so on the way up, I don't know what to expect. I never stayed out I never stood out line overnight. And so I'm going into New York City, and I type this tweet, or on Instagram I type this thing like, on my way to New York City, spent $600 to spend the night on the street so I could get this gold Mario. And I go we get up there, and there's a female manager, and she's out there and she's talking, and she's telling people like, you got to stay on the other side of the street, you're not allowed over here, and all that stuff. And like, so I walk and I just start asking questions like, I just want to know the lay of the land, the law of the land, like what can I do, what can't I do? So she's telling me everything. I said, okay, cool. So at midnight, I'm kind of like walking around. There's a line across the other side of the street, man. We're Alex and them were lined up at the beginning, and then like midnight, boom, it broke, and people come over, and I'm like, oh my god. So I get in line, and as she comes out, and she's yelling now, she's like, one behind the other, single file line, stretch it out, and we're backing up, and like I'm at the store at the beginning, and then by the time it gets straightened out, like I'm back, like. Three quarters of a block down. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. You know, like, I'm still close. You know, it is. What it is.
I'm gonna get it.
So she comes back and they start giving bracelets. And so she comes up to me and she gives me a bracelet. I said, "Can I ask you a question?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, does this bracelet guarantee me?" And she's like, "Yeah, you got the bracelet now. You're guaranteed." I said, "Because man, I rented a room, and I really don't want to sleep on the street tonight." And she's like, "That was you that put that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Man, I read that." And I said, "You're crazy. Go back to your room now." She starts yelling at me. I'm like, "Okay." So I go back to the room, come back the next day, and now the line where I was, no. I'm around the block now. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have just stayed, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't sleep on the street. So I get up there, I go in the store, and as soon as I walk in the door, I said to a guy, I'm like, there's another manager, and I'm like, "Hey man, I got this bracelet. The girl said that I was guaranteed it, you know," and he was like, he's looking at me like, I thought we gave them all away, because they're just not, you know, they know they're through the bracelets at this point. He's like, "Just go to the register, see what you can figure out." I'm panicking now.
Oh, wow.
And I get up to the register, and they actually had all the store exclusives there, right? Yeah. And I go to this one guy, I'm like, "Hey man, I got this bracelet." He goes, "You're the one." He goes, "Man, we've been freaking out for the last 2 hours, thinking we miscounted. We kept it in the back because we weren't sure." He goes, "When you get to the register, show them the bracelet. It's yours." And I was
nice.
Like, "Woo!" I was like, so I paid an arm and a leg for it, but I got it. But it was like,
wow.
But that's lines, and for people that don't know, like New York City, the buildings are so tall, so like you don't get no sunlight. Like, you're freezing out there. Like, when it's cold, man. And that wind whips through them buildings.
Yeah, the skyscrapers, for sure.
It's nothing. Like, I feel like I'm more in a rural country type area now. And it's like, this is cold. But, man, it's just something about New York. When I go up there and it's cold, it's like a different feel. It's just.
Absolutely. It's an island, you know.
That too.
Yeah, it's an island surrounded by water, so you deal with that, and the skyscrapers, the wind going through the skyscrapers. It's very, 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 very cold. Yeah.
So have you ever been there for any other big events, or just that one?
I was there. I think I was there for the Gold Amiibo as well. Okay. Yeah. I think I was there for that.
So we probably ran into each other.
I did not spend $600 on an Amiibo.
Because you're not an idiot. That's why.
I didn't come close. In fact, I think I ended up having 3 gold Amiibo, and I gave away 2 of them. No. So
I wound up. Overall, I think I got 6 overall, not from there.
Yeah.
Like just And I just gave them all, like, because I have a lot of friends that are over in Europe, and it was exclusive to the North American territory at the time. Still, it's never released over there. So I got them for them because they were freaking out because they were like big avid Amiibo hunters. Yeah, they're like, I gotta get.
I was a crazy Amiibo hunter at one point. When it was, I didn't jump on Amiibo in 2014 when it started. But once, I think it was the Rosalina Amiibo that I saw, and I was like, "Oh, I want that," and I was like, and people were like, "How it's hard to get them online. It's hard to pre-order them." And so you have to wait out at the store. I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna wait out at the store. I think it was like a Best Buy, whatever the case may be. And waited out there, got the Rosalina Amiibo. I saw some other Amiibo, and I was just like, all right, I'll pick up these ones too. That was it. That was it, bro. I swear to you, that was it. Yeah. And then they kept coming out with Amiibo, and I was just like, oh wow. And then so I realized that when I picked up the Rosalina amiibo, I also picked up a Little Mac amiibo, and I didn't realize that that was an amiibo that was going to be like really hard to find at some point. So during 2015, Little Mac was really hard to find. Like a lot of these cats were really hard. I was like, okay, so these are hard to find. Wow. I want to be on this bandwagon. I want these amiibo. Like it was just something about, I don't know why. It was just something about the rarity of it, them being hard to find, them being, just the nice little figures that they were, and the culture that we ended up having, the Amiibo hunters, just like recognizing each other and just sharing information online about where to buy them and where to get them, where to find them. It was a very, very fun time. That was a fantastic, smart move by Nintendo. Yeah. The Amiibo was just a brilliant, brilliant move in that time period where the Wii U was just struggling, and they were trying to figure out what's next and trying to figure out how to plan out what's next. Amiibo was a fantastic stopgap between then and the NES Classic, Super NES Classic, and the Nintendo Switch. It was just a nice little time period as a Nintendo fan. If you got into Amiibo, it's like, okay, I have something to do with my Nintendo. Like, it was. I don't have
games. I don't have games for this thing, but I got Amiibo. I got toys.
I ain't got no games. All I got is Smash and Amiibo. But I would make it work.
I as of right now, I have every single Amiibo. That's coming. You're the same.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming just because I watched this video of you today, like a maniac tearing through. You do open your Amiibo?
I do. I open everything.
Okay, so do I. How do you display
them? Currently, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, right?
Oh, boy. And
it's about the size of me.
Oh my God.
I don't have much space to display my Amiibo. I do have like a little tiny half a bookcase thingamajiggy here that has all of the Amiibo just stuffed in there. And then I have a bag that's for my Nintendo Switch, but it's like carries the Switch, the dock, and the controllers, all that type of stuff. And I have that bag full of Amiibo. So right now it's not a pretty situation, but I'm currently house hunting right now.
Okay, I did see that too. I did hear that too. You're looking for a house.
Yeah, me and my fiance currently looking for a house right now. We've been hunting for a while. It's a tough thing to do out here in Essex County. It's really a hot market right now. Yeah. Right now it's sad. They're not getting the respect they deserve. But I had to. I was gonna keep them all boxed, to be honest, but in my old apartment, I ran out of space. Like it was like there were so many Amiibo. Like I think it was like 60 Amiibo, 70 Amiibo at that time. And my apartment was just not good enough, not big enough to be able to display them all. So I was like, all right, so if I'm going to unbox all of these, I'm going to make something out of it. Like, let me just do a video. I'm like, okay, I'm just unbox all the Amiibo that were released this year. And I've been doing it pretty much every year since then.
I love this. So I watched today, right? And I'm like, you're ripping through and you're like so fast. And the cardboard's flying and the plastic's flying, and you pop it and you just stop and it's there. And I'm like, this guy's magic. Like, this is just an amazing thing. I'm waiting for the Amiibo to go flying, and it's like, it doesn't. It just, he stops and it's there perfectly.
I learned from the best. Lamar Wilson, another YouTuber. He, when he used to open Amiibo, unbox Amiibo, he would just go crazy with it, and unbox it really, really fast. And I was like, that's just fun to watch. Because you get people complaining in the comments, like, why are you destroying the boxes?
I love it.
The precious boxes. I'm like,
it's a box.
It's a box. Yeah. Like I'm personally not collecting to get rich off of the stuff that I have. That's not my intention. My intention of collecting is to have a bunch of stuff that I love, and just enjoy and can go back to, can play, and just feel happy. Like it's like the stuff. I look at the stuff and I'm like, that stuff's dope.
Exactly.
That's how I feel, and that's why I collect. So it's never about the value of products, and so it's just funny to watch people complain and get triggered when you tear through, like, especially when you tear through it.
Yeah.
Like, if I gently open the box, then people are less, disturbed.
Yeah,
but
they feel like you could maybe put it back together.
You can salvage it a little bit.
Yeah,
but
maybe. No.
No. I got to use teeth next time. I haven't done that yet.
I do a podcast with a buddy of mine from England as well.
Yeah.
I do a bunch of podcasts, but I have this one that I do with this friend of mine from England, and he's all inbox collector, but they're all uptight over there in England. Like they're out of control. The only difference, and I get why he keeps them in the box, because theirs are numbered. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like it becomes like a baseball card when you were a kid. Like you're collecting, and there's numbers on them, and it makes it more important. But I'm like, I had a friend of mine here one time, and his were all in boxes, and I was like, he couldn't get a. I was going to make one up because I can't remember which one in particular was, but Captain Falcon or something at the time, because he was hard to get too. They were all hard to get. Who am I kidding? And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, listen, Chris, open your Amiibo. And he's like, I can't. And I'm like, do you understand that, like, by you keeping them in box, you've limited what you can buy to one territory? Mm-hmm. I can literally right now import your Captain Falcon you can't get for cheaper than you can buy it on eBay in the United States. And it would just because it has Japanese writing on it, nobody wants it. But you would have a figure that works the same, and you would have it. And he was like, you know what? That makes a hell of a lot of sense. And then he opened it up, and that was it. Lights out. He just started opening them all up. And I was like, to me, that's where I was like, you're not going to beat me. I'm not going to go to scalpers and buy these things for $80, $90, $100. Like,
hell no.
Listen, I'll pay $600 and go stay in New York City, but I'm not paying $100 to a scalper.
They're not getting my money.
They're not getting my money. The hotel people get my money, but not them.
For sure. Yeah. Once I learned that they're all the same when you take them out of the box, I'm just like, oh man, like no, like I'm good. Like. Yeah. Especially when I had already started taking them out of the box, I'm like, nah, like what's the point? Like, what's the point if I get this for $25 from Japan, versus spending $60-$70 to get it because I missed out on the pre-orders online, from some scalper. Then I'm going that route. Like, forget about it. It's not even worth it. That's why probably maybe like 20 or 25 out of my entire collection are from Japan. Mm-hmm. The rest I've been on top of getting those pre-orders in online, Best Buy, and all the places.
It becomes this thing where it's ingrained. Like, I think at this point, like people like you and I that kind of went through the hard part. Yeah. We don't. Number one, I don't get panicked no more. I'm like, I'll get it. I'm not even worried about it. It's going to be mine. Sure. But like that. I remember when Wave 4 came out, and Wave 4 gave me such anxiety because that was the bad one. That was the one where it was like they had 4 store exclusives. Yep. And it was like they were all launching at the same day, and it was that was the worst. That was the worst, man. But then it turned out to really not be that bad because why it was the worst, because they weren't giving any information. They weren't doing pre-orders. Some were only doing like line. You had to line up, and it was like, okay, we got 4 store exclusives, 4 stores that won't do pre-orders, and then they started doing pre-orders, but they were doing it 2:00 in the morning, and it was like, oh my god, this is a nightmare. And I was like, you had to kind of make your. That was also the one that GameStop did the pre-order in store, and it crashed the entire computer system. I remember that. Yeah. And people were in line for hours waiting to pre-order that thing. And they were, but the one thing I liked about GameStop, they were actually doing boxes where you could buy everything. Like you would go up to the register, you'd be like, I just want them all. I want this box, and they would sell you the entire set for the whole total price. They were doing bundles, but when that one got done, I was like, I am never going through this again. I was like, I'm done. I want them. But I'm done. Mm-hmm. So what happened was Wave, because they did Wave 5 in like 5A, 5B, and it was like, oh my god, it was like Zero Suit Samus, and some other, and I was like, the minute I saw Zero Suit Samus, I was like, I'm not even messing, because these people are freaks, these Nintendo fans and these Smash fans, and she's like the one that they got fetishes for and stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not even playing. And I saw this pre-order go up in Japan. and it was like $100 for like 5 amiibo. That was $100 shipped, and I was like, you know what? It's stress relief.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just gonna buy it, and I bought it, and it came like a week before they actually launched in the States, and I was like, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got really easy after that. Like the struggle was gone after that. It was like, you want it, no problem, and it was pretty easy.
Yeah, they had like the what they said was the import issue with like at the ports or what. I forgot what the whole situation was.
The ports, they were striking in San Francisco, and there was actually, they were here, but they were actually in sea containers, and they weren't able to get those or the new 3DSs out yet. And they were saying that's why the new 3DS,
what caused that shortage.
Shortage. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever they wanted to call it.
Yeah.
But now it's a lot easier to get Amiibo. Honestly,
so
if you're up on the pre-orders and you have your alerts and whatnot set, then you can absolutely get them whenever. Especially the GameStop ones. I feel like the GameStop ones are way easier to get. The Solaire Amiibo was up for a while before they sold out. Solaire was up for a while. Wolf Amiibo was up for a little while. It was so much easier to get. It's just hard to get after the fact.
Once they're out and they're sold out, they're very difficult to get. Like, you need to be on it from the jump, because once they're gone, they're gone. The only one I don't have, and I know you don't have it either, and I'm not even going to ask if you do, because I know you don't. I don't even know if you know about this. Japan put out 10 gold Mega Man from Mega Man 11. And that's all they put out, was 10 of them. They were giveaways.
Didn't they release a gold Mega Man here in the United States?
They did a gold Mega Man here in the United States, but that's the actual Smash Pose one, where he's got his arm up. The one that came bundled with Mega Man 11, they put out a gold one, and they only made 10 of them in Japan. I'm not happy with Capcom.
Brother, you just put me on to something.
You ain't gonna get it. Don't even try it. Don't even.
Oh snap! I am Googling right now.
If you get it, I'll tell you right now. You get it. I'm coming up to Essex County and I'm hunting you down, man. We're gonna have at it. I think they were saying like it was total giveaway. You weren't gonna get it. Like, I don't even know how they were giving it away.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, they were also they built these or they made these gold Mega Man statues that are like $6,000 and $12,000, like for them, and it's like this is just nuts.
Yeah, it's nuts. And then that goes on the same run with the Nintendo Labo Joy-Con. Like, I have every Joy-Con that has been released. And I like the Nintendo Labo Joy-Con. It's kind of like I just throw that out there. Like, all right, this is something I'm never gonna own because. Like, it's like whatever. Like I'm not gonna.
Unless you got PewDiePie money, you're not gonna own it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like I'm not gonna stress over that. No, not at all.
No.
So I see the gold Mega Man you're talking about. I'm like, okay, only 10. Like, okay, yeah, no, I'm never gonna own it. But like,
I take comfort in it when I get to throw it in someone else's face. Like, I don't have it, but I know you don't have it either. The one day I'm gonna meet that person who goes, oh no, I have it. I'll be like. You better hide. You better hide him and you for the rest of your life. I remember when the Silver Mario one, it got leaked that it was supposed to be out.
Yeah.
Someone got a leaked copy of. It started out that someone got a leaked copy of Mario Party for the Wii U. And when they started playing the game, they realized that there was a Silver Mario amiibo.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, this bootleg-looking, weird, like, Silver Mario showed up on the market. Some guy did a YouTube video, and, like, it was just, he bought it off some weird website in China, which to me was like, it got stolen from the factory, and someone's just selling it. But it was like, nobody believed the guy. They thought he was lying.
Yeah.
They thought he painted it silver. And, like, because it looked so... Dude, there was such... Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, those are the days, bro. Those are the days. It's unfortunate Amiibo have died down in my eyes. I did love the whole Amiibo craze. Like, literally last year, half of the Amiibo released last year was Splatoon Amiibo.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally, like 6 out of the 12 Amiibo released last year were Splatoon Amiibo. This year, it looks like we're going to have more. We have at least 19 coming out this year that I've counted.
I like
so
my thing is, like, I loved the hunt.
yeah.
Like Rosalina, I woke up at 4 a.m. Rosalina, I know for a fact, was a Target exclusive, and the only reason I know that is because I was standing. It was the first one I went out, stood in line, 4 o'clock in the morning, middle of February 20th. Dude, I know, like, the back. It's like scarred in my brain, man, because it was cold as hell, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, what is wrong with me that I'm sitting in front of a store at 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get this stupid amiibo? And I'm like, but that was what we did. You know what I mean? Like, you knew that was what you're going to have to do to get it. Like, you could either be one of those people that just cried about it on the internet that you wanted it, or you could be up at 4 o'clock in the morning
and get it.
When I knew it hit a wall, and I hit a wall when, like, I remember sitting out in front of GameStop to pre-order, not even to get it, remember the retro 3-pack that they did with Duck Hunt Dog and
yes, absolutely,
and Game & Watch, and I forget who the third one is. But I'm like, did I really just sit out in line for 3 hours just to be able to pre-order this thing? Like,
it was bad.
I hit an all-too low.
It was bad, but that was, it's like, yeah, definitely. But there was also, like, those were the most fond memories of Amiibo that I have, and that time period helped me, like, fall back in love with Nintendo, because, like, the Wii to me was a real disappointment of a console. Personally, there were very good games on the Wii, but overall the console itself was just it was disappointing to me. And then the Wii U, the sparse game releases, the non-support from third parties, just like it was a sad time to be a hardcore gaming fan and a Nintendo fan, because you weren't being fulfilled. Like, Nintendo was not tickling your spots.
No, exactly.
That's weird.
Right. I know. But no, you're absolutely right. It was like there was just always something lacking. It was like it was weird because, like we talked about earlier, where, like, I was saying, like, I would like to just take people to throw them the end of the Wii U era, pre-Switch era, to see how bad it was before they sit there and complain about what it is right now. Exactly. And it's like, man, that era, like, I remember just the people just sitting there going, like, I don't think Nintendo's going to make it. Like, they need to do this, that in order to be successful. And we don't think that they can make it. And third parties aren't going to come. And it's like, if you don't have third parties, you can't succeed. And I was like, I know personally in the podcast that I was doing, I was of that mindset of, like, man, if they don't lock down third parties, they are in trouble. And then, like, when the Switch launched, there was no third parties. And it was like, uh-oh. And then,
a little scary.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they start banging out Nintendo game, and I'm like, maybe I don't need third parties. Maybe I don't. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the third party started to come, and it was like, holy cow, like, we're good. We're, it's.
And I have to give all hats off to Ubisoft for being one of the first people to be like, nah, we're not only going to support Nintendo Switch, we're going to come out with a completely brand new exclusive franchise, exclusive game. Mario plus Rabbids. I was like, okay, like, I took my hats off to them for that, because it's those types of things that really help boost the console and help boost its view amongst others, is seeing that support from other places, and not just ports, but actual new exclusive content, and content that's made with the Switch in mind. Which is why I don't have much respect for EA and what they be doing, unfortunately.
Yeah, because why? Like, for me with EA, right? Okay, you bring FIFA. Okay, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it.
They bring the mobile version of FIFA.
Yeah, but not only that, like, why wouldn't you bring Madden? Like, in the United States, why wouldn't you bring Madden?
Yeah, they don't bring Madden, and they also, and I'm a WWE fan, huge wrestling fan, in general. And they released 2K18, and it's literally the worst game, top 3 worst games you can play on the Nintendo Switch. Period. It's an unplayable game.
Horrible.
It's unplayable. Like the Troll and I is terrible, but Troll and I you can actually play a little bit before it starts glitching on you and crashing on you. You can't even get through the intro scene. You can't get through the menu screen, and it's just like who dropped the ball there, and why is no one over there at EA trying to pick it up and create something for this platform that is the fastest selling console in the world right now?
I agree. The one thing that blows my mind is, so if you're EA, right, and you're sitting there, you're going like, you know what, the games we put in here aren't selling. Why wouldn't you put games on the console that you know would sell, right?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't you put The Sims on there?
Yeah.
You know The Sims would sell. You know what I mean? Like
easy.
It's like easy. I don't understand. Like Unravel. Why would you put Unravel on there? That game will sell. It's like I don't get it. It's like it's almost like they just don't want to support it. So we're going to half-heartedly go in, and then when it's not successful, we can go, well, that's why we're not here.
They don't want us. They don't want us there. They don't want to buy our games. They won't buy FIFA. Yeah. They're not buying FIFA. Yeah. Like because we don't play FIFA in the United States like that as much as other countries do. Like FIFA is not the game. No. Madden is the game. Like these adventure games are the games that we need to have on Nintendo Switch. That's what a lot of us enjoy and like as Nintendo Switch owners, Nintendo fans. Yeah. And so it's just the complete disrespect that I feel like EA, the lack of respect EA has for the Nintendo console, Nintendo as a console maker and as a company. Like I'm just looking through the history of Nintendo and EA's relationship, and it's just like they've never really had much, respect for Nintendo and the consoles they've created in my eyes. Somebody can prove me otherwise. I would love to see that, but they've shown that they are not really interested in sort of supporting Nintendo. And to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with all of the other options that Nintendo has, and I'm loving what Ubisoft is doing. I'm loving what Square Enix is doing. Octopath is a fun game. I haven't finished it yet though. It's a big game. But I love that. That's what I love seeing.
Well, that's the thing. Like you look at the companies that are supporting Nintendo, and look, people can look at this and go like, oh, well, you're crying sour grapes or whatever, and whatever. It's not really the case because my case is, and I believe you're with me on this, is when you look at the companies that are actually supporting Nintendo, they're selling like wildfire. Square Enix, Capcom. Ubisoft, like these are the companies that are actually showing support and it's working for them. Like you got a company like Square Enix that was gone for years from Nintendo. They would do stuff on the 3DS, but they wouldn't do stuff on home consoles anymore. They were done, and they're basically going like, man, we're putting everything on this console. This thing is selling like wildfire. We're putting everything here. I just don't understand it. So Tuan,
what's up?
Thank you for coming on, sir.
It's been fun.
This has been a blast, man. This has been a blast. The crazy thing is you would think like we've known each other for years. And we literally just met like 2 minutes before we started this.
Literally, yeah.
And but it went well. I appreciate this. So real quickly, again, just let people know where they can find you at and pimp your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Tuan X, just search Tuan X, TUANX. I'm there. I'm posting content weekly on a more frequent basis soon. Once I get my house, I'm trying to get out of this damn apartment. But
you'll get there.
We're getting there soon.
Yeah.
This year is the goal. Within the first 3 months, that's the goal I'm setting. The first 3 months, we're in our house. We're buying a house. I'm not in it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So yeah, Tuan X, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you for having me on.
Man, it's my honor, my pleasure, man. Seriously, thank you for coming on. Sure. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight. That tuned in live. This replay will go up on YouTube. Probably Tuesday or Thursday this week, somewhere in there, and then it'll hit all my podcast outlets and all that stuff where it is. Thank you again, Tuan. I appreciate it so much. Follow me over Instagram, Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Peace.